They have enticed the whole world. You see all these types of witchcraft I'm mentioning to you, they are in control of the world. Every day they cast spell in the air. You don't know. They are flying in the air. They are saying things. You are there sleeping. And if you wake up, you don't pray to break those curses. They begin to work against you. This one, they don't need to take permission. You just have to be in the spirit to know how to overcome this. You just have to be in the spirit. Hate witches often practice alone and focus on nature-based magic. They work with herbs as well, and they work with the underworld, the spirit world. You know what they call the spirit world? These kind of people are powerful witches and wizards. They travel to the underworld to commune with the spirit, with the demons. You don't know that witches can commune with the demons. They can evoke spirit. See, don't play with witchcraft too. Hey, if you notice you have a witchcraft in your family, hey, your prayer is God empower me to overcome. That should be your prayer. Empower me to overcome. The reason is because you have hey, witches don't give up. They don't give up. They don't give up on you. If a witch is attacking you and he or she notices that you are too strong, they'll go and gather more power. They actually came for me. That night was another terrible night, of which I don't want to talk about. But I thank God that God gave me victory. With that night, they wanted to judge me in their kingdom for doing nothing to them. But God gave me victory. Witches can be very evil. And they will attack you most if you are standing in their way to get others in the family. Because I refuse that all my family members, God used me to convert them from that white garment church. So they are really angry that I was able to take many of them out. So they are facing me seriously. So now, I'm talking about H. This H witchcraft and traditional witchcraft, they are alike. They have equal practice. They are very wicked. When they say that somebody is wicked, because they use, that's what they call shamanism in witchcraft. And shamanic techniques is one that they use to, they use spell to hold you bound. When they cast spell on somebody, you'll be behaving like mumu. Anything they want you to do, you will do. Anything they want you to say, you will say. They can even run you mad. They are very wicked. Now, in the realm of the spirit, they gather knowledge and they perform healing. How do they gather knowledge? Please listen very carefully in what I'm telling you, because this is where many of you have been held bondage. They gather knowledge in the spirit and they perform healing. Now, imagine a sister will just come to your house, probably your friend or your neighbor. They'll be asking you strange questions that you never expect. Maybe let's assume you are pregnant, and the person is not aware you are pregnant. The person will call your friend, and they come to her and say, Sister Mary, hey, this is your husband now. Wow, I believe by now he would have scored one goal. Are you telling me you are not pregnant now? You have been married for 3 weeks, 3 months, 5 years, 2 years. Are you saying your husband is not a man enough to make babies? And if you are the type that you talk too much, just like Satan was the one that asked Eve, did God say you should not eat this fruit? So how did Satan know? The serpent know that God told them not to eat the fruit. He knew because he was there when God was telling Adam. So they asked Eve a question. The reason he asked him that question was to get information from her. Now, somebody is asking you a question. You don't have to answer any questions that they ask you or answer all the questions they ask you. The first thing you should think is, why would this person be asking me this kind of question? But many of you, when they ask you a question concerning your marital life, you expose it. I'm pregnant for 3 months, so you don't even know whether it's a witch that is asking you that question. For the fact somebody is close to you, smiling at you, doesn't mean the person is your friend. So they will ask you, how are you living with your husband? I hope he's treating you well. My husband, he gives me 20,000 naira to make soup. He gives me 30,000 naira to make soup. Hey, he buys me this, he buys me that. You begin to tell them all the good things your husband is doing for you. Even the way your husband is sleeping with you, you will tell them. You are selling your family. And now they will go back home and they will use it against you. How would they use it against you? Your husband is rich. They didn't know your husband was rich initially. It was you that told them that your husband is rich. You expose him. And the next thing, they will use what you spoke. They will use what you said against you. Because it's a spiritual battle. The next thing, they will cast a spell in your husband so that all of you will begin to have problems. So that the money he usually gives you to cook, he will either reduce it or even stop giving you at all. Or you were not having misunderstanding or quarrel before you begin to have quarrel, misunderstanding. Hedge witchcraft is at work. Witchcraft, the one they call traditional witchcraft, is at work. Two of them cannot be separated. You have revealed your secret, and they are using it against you. I see some people on social media, if they are pregnant, they will snap the picture and they will post it on Facebook. They have a baby, they will snap the baby, they post it on Facebook. They want to get married, they will snap their fiancé, they will snap themselves, they will post it on YouTube. They are inviting witchcraft attacks on them. And these people are not even ready spiritually. They are inviting witchcraft attacks. And when they begin to attack them, they wouldn't even know where the problems are coming from. They practice spell. They seek knowledge. Satan, before Satan deals with you, he will seek knowledge about who you are. Yeah. You want to find out what kind of person. How can I get this person? Because, Satan will throw thoughts. Satan doesn't know what is in your heart. He only, throw thoughts on you so that you can be able to expose what is in your heart. That's why sometimes you are going through something, you begin to confess negative. You are dealing to yourself, by yourself, because of what you say with your mouth. So if you're the type that you always tell people about your husband, about your wife, my wife is very good, he's very nice, you don't have anything that has to do with your family. It be limited between you and your children and your husband. Even your own mother that gave birth to you, your own father, they don't have to know everything about your family, about your life. Because devil can use anybody against you. Yes. I've seen a video where a mother was one that made her son to come back to Nigeria. A son that has suffered, and eventually somebody was able to help him to travel abroad. It was a mother that made him to come down back to Africa. I'm telling you a life story. Witches are the most dangerous for the powers of darkness, because they will so frustrate you that you even forget God. If you're not careful, you say that God is wicked, they will turn you against God. They will make life a hell for you. Another type of witchcraft is one they call green witchcraft. Green witches work closely with nature as well, and the energies of plants, energies of trees. They also use herbs. Their practice is deeply, rooted in ecological awareness and often involves, people that do gardening, remedies. They make potions. So they are in love with all these things. They are in love with the trees. They are in love with, plants. They are in love with anything that has to do with forest. Remember, I told you that I had a revelation where God took me to a thick forest. And inside this thick forest was a witch and a witch doctor together, plucking herbs. So witches, they work with herbs because they make potions. There are different kinds of potions they make. All of them together, they work together. That's why the Bible says that God has given us herbs as our food. But what has Satan done? Satan is corrupting them and is using witchcraft to corrupt them. Witchcraft and technology, which I should call sorcery. They are corrupting the food, corrupting the plant, corrupting the nature. Because these are the things they worship. They don't see God as anything. The one that will shock you most. So they make potions. You see this green witchcraft, and the next one is kitchen witchcraft. Green witchcraft and kitchen witchcraft, they also work together. Whereas green witches, they work with nature and the energies of plants and trees and herbs. Kitchen witchcrafts also, incorporate magic into everyday activity, particularly cooking and homemaking. So they believe in the sacredness of the home, the use of ingredients with magical properties to infuse their meals with intention and healing. In this very particular time, I'm going to open your eyes to something you have never seen or ever thought of by the grace of God. Green witchcraft and kitchen witchcraft. Now, when you talk of green witchcraft, what comes to your mind is the word green. This has to do with herbs, plants, fruits. Then when you go to farm to pluck, fruit, or to pluck seed, or to pluck vegetable, watermelon, tomatoes, pepper, vegetables, apple, mangoes, name them. When you go to farm, green witchcraft, you pluck them, you harvest your corn, your maize, your cassava, you pluck them, your yam, you pluck them, you harvest them. They are coming from the farm. Green witchcraft is talking about farm witchcraft. Now, when you bring all these things in, the next thing is kitchen. You take out those that want to plant the next season, then you take out those who want to cook, want to prepare, they enter kitchen. Do you know what the devil has done to your food? It didn't just start today. The devil has poisoned your food. Even before they make GMO food, GMO plants, the devil has poisoned your food. Ask me how and I will tell you. By witchcraft and sorcery. Listen. Before many of you were born, or before some of you were born, you may have heard teachings on witchcraft in different ways, but this one is one that will save your life and save your soul. I say that green witchcraft and kitchen witchcraft, they are similar, they work together. And what I mean by green witchcraft is that they deal with food and fruits and plantations. Are you hearing me now? Now, when you harvest your crops, you bring them home, you want to eat and prepare your food, and then you have a witch in the family or a witch in the vicinity. Because they operate physically. So all the things, your vegetable, your potato, your cocoyam, your pineapple, your apple, your watermelons, your pepper, your mangoes, your everything, your oranges, you bring them home. These are natural fruits, natural food, natural farm crops. You bring them home. And then you have a witch in the family that you are not aware of. What they do is they poison that food. They poison it when it is raw. Before you cook it, they poison it. You don't know because you are standing there with them. They have spiritual eyes, they have spiritual mouth, they have spiritual tongue, everything you don't have. They just cast a spell on the food. Anybody that eats this food, let this happen, let this happen, let this happen. And this is why I tell people, before you eat anything, even if it is pure water you buy or sweet, bless it. Praise God. Please listen to this. Listen to this. God gave me a revelation of how sweet, what they used to make sweet, chocolate, all these things. And I said, what? Is this happening? And they make it from water. And then they supply these things to supermarkets, and people are selling them, and they are buying them. Because in that revelation, God gave me that revelation while we were in Ghana. So when we went to Ghana, the first night we went to Ghana, God tried to show me the powers that are working in Ghana. And because of that, He gave me this revelation, how marine powers are controlling that place. Marine powers from water. And I saw they were the ones that were bringing this chocolate, sweet, and chewing gum, a lot of even some biscuits that you're buying today, how they poison them. And I said, what? What am I trying to tell you? Hey, many of you that you are buying sweets for your children, you buy that this one they call lollipop, this long sweet. All these things are enchanted. Your tum-tum, your chewing gum, your chocolate, they are enchanted with sugar. So that when you eat it, you get diabetes. When you eat it, you have cancer, you have a liver problem, you have kidney problem. When you eat it, they will reducing your God-given strength. What I'm telling you, this one is not GMO. This one is just they poison it naturally by casting spell and portion in them. Mixture of portion. You don't know. Green witchcraft and kitchen witchcraft, they deal with what you eat. You don't have to. This GMO now is one that is very blatant and obvious. It's conspicuous to everyone. So it's not hidden. There was a time it was hidden, but now it's no longer hidden. It's also part of sorcery and witchcraft. But just like before, they were hiding messages in worldly songs. You listen to a song, the song is insulting you, but you don't know. They hide the lyrics. When you backmask such song and see what they're saying, you realize that they're already singing you to hellfire. But nowadays, they're no longer hiding the subliminal messages in songs and movies. They make it blatant now. They make it conspicuous. So initially, before we have what they call GMOs, they were practicing what they call a witchcraft spell. The one I'm calling you, kitchen witchcraft. So they deal with your food, they deal with what you drink, they deal with the juice you buy, the drinks. So they cast spell. Let me tell you something. Do you know that some of you that are still using sugar to eat, you are killing yourself? The kind of enchantment they do on sugar. And this sugar we are talking about, this sugar is found in everything you are eating. Everything, virtually everything you are eating has sugar. Apart from those ones that have natural sugar, like granite has natural sugar, yam has its natural sugar, sugarcane is there because they make sugar with sugarcane. But what they do is that they don't follow the original process, the natural process to make the sugar that we use. They put other witchcraft portions, they add other substance, sorcerers they do on it. So that when you eat it, you have to go back and buy more. The ice cream you are taking, the sugar is there, which involves some witchcraft portions and enchantment and rituals. The chocolate you are buying, sugar is there, which they have enchanted and invoked some spirit into it and demons. The sweet you are buying, it has some quantity of sugar, which of course has some witchcraft enchantment and rituals, and even sacrifices in most cases. The biscuit you are buying, all those sweet biscuits, has some quantity of sugar in it. And usually the sugar quantity is high, the sugar percentage is high. The Coke you are drinking, the Fanta you are drinking, no wonder. God was showing me a revelation how they were injecting the drinks with syringe. Those are witchcraft, kitchen witchcraft, and green witchcraft are at work here. They say, well, they are Christians. Fine, no problem. We won't stop them from following Jesus Christ. We won't stop them from serving God. But when they eat, they are poisoned spiritually. That one is sure. This is what they have done. See, this thing I want to tell you now is going to be very difficult for you, but I'm just trying to help you so you can live longer. Not everybody will tell you this. If you love yourself, stop drinking Fanta, sugar, Coke, stop taking all these things. It's better. Because the reason why you're always weak in prayer, you're always tired, you always feel body pain. Every day, sometimes you wake up in the morning, you cannot even pray. You are just weak. Kitchen witchcraft is working on you. Yeah, what you are eating. They poison your food, they poison your drink, they poison your juice, they poison everything contains sugar, and this sugar is enchanted from the kitchen of witchcraft, sorcery. This may be difficult for you to accept. But if I took my time to pray and fast and ask God, I want to know how Satan operates, reveal their secrets for me. Sometimes God will take me to a kingdom, I'll begin to hear their meetings they're doing. In some cases, they will catch me and they will begin to chase me, and I will escape. I will hear these secrets, deep secrets of the world, of the underworld, of darkness. And these are something that when you tell people they don't believe it, they find it difficult to accept. But you are a child of God. You have knowledge of God's word. When you hear the truth, you should know. When they were making Coke, were you there? Did you know what they put inside? When they were making the Fanta juice, were you there? Do you know what they put inside? Even the one that you make naturally, the one that you did it yourself, you can't take it without praying. Because enemies are everywhere, they are invisible, you can't see them. And devil has sworn that he doesn't want you to make heaven. So he will do everything to poison your food. Share this message. Because the teaching I'm giving you this morning is to save you from witchcraft spells and enchantment. Because the world has been wallowing under witchcraft spells for too long. That is why it is difficult to win a soul now. It takes the grace of God, although those are God wants to have encounter with them. Teaching witchcraft, green witchcraft. They use potion, they use magic, they use spell, they cast it on people, they cast it on your food. Sometimes after eating, you begin to dream some strange dreams. See your husband beating you, see your husband gossiping, see your husband doing this. Your husband is not the one doing it. The kitchen witchcraft is the one that casts a spell on you while you were asleep. Inside the food you ate. And after eating, you couldn't pray. Your body becomes heavy. You say, I cover myself with the blood of Jesus. Did you know what it took them to make that spell? Do you know how much sacrifice they have done? Let me tell you, in the kingdom of darkness, sacrifices sacrifices are considered a means of establishing covenant and power. A witch can go and fast for 1 year just to take out a life, to destroy one life, to fast for a whole 1 year. How many times do you fast a week? You are a Christian. How many times do you fast a week? Somebody is fasting for you not to fulfill your calling. Somebody is fasting for you not to marry that husband that God has destined you. Somebody is fasting for you for everybody in your family to be destroyed, and you are eating every day. And if I count how many minutes you pray a day, it's not up to 70 minutes. You are eating, and somebody is paying huge sacrifice just to destroy your life. Don't you know that if you don't do anything, they will succeed? If you keep quiet, they will succeed. God will be watching and say, yeah, this is my daughter, this is my son, is very ignorant. He doesn't know what is going on. And if you don't pray, if there's no prayer in your storage, for God to look at it and say, okay, she has a good quantity of prayer. Oh, he has enough prayers in the store. Okay, let us help her. Let's help him. But when they look at your prayer tank, there's no storage of prayer there. It's red, it's empty. God doesn't work like that. You have to pay a sacrifice yourself. Open your Bible in the book of Psalm chapter 50. Psalm chapter 50 verse 5. He said, gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me. By what? By sacrifice. By sacrifice. So what is this place telling you? You have to pay a sacrifice. What is that sacrifice? You have to enter a covenant of prayer, a covenant of fasting. This place is talking about altar of meeting with God. Altar of meeting. Do you know how many altars are rising against you? Do you know how many curses your parents have brought upon yourself? And you are sleeping and eating every day. You are not ready. You are not ready. The reason you marry the wrong person is witchcraft kitchen and witchcraft, green witchcraft. That's why you marry the wrong person. Because they can cast a spell to blindfold you so that you can't choose the wrong man. Maybe God has destined you to marry a president of a particular nation, but to marry a man of God, a man of God that will do wonder in God's presence. And because you are spiritually asleep, they will just carry you and push you into one village. So now marry one farmer. Green witchcraft, kitchen witchcraft. This thing is deeper than you think. If I continue to explain it, we won't leave here. But one thing I want you to know is that stop eating sugar. Stop eating sugar. Except you can do your own natural sugar. Go and do research on how to do natural sugar. Because what they are putting in the sugar you are eating, it will blow your mind. That is why you are always having spiritual problems. The food you are eating is gradually killing you. Why are people falling sick? You eat something, instead of getting the nutrients in that food, you either get sickness or get infected, or you are getting angry, you are getting emotional, you are getting unnecessary, you are just getting jealousy, keeping malice coming from the food you are eating because of the kind of spell they cast on you. People are having diabetes. In Nigeria now, I'm hearing cases of cancer, which was not there before. It's the things you are eating. Stop buying your children sweet and chewing gum and tom-tom. They are initiating them to those things. And you are there busy, you don't know what is going on. Even those things that some of them are made naturally, yet stop buying them. They involve sugar. And this sugar they are making is not coming naturally anymore. All these things are witchcraft and sorcery, witchcraft practices. Now, there's one they call ceremonial magic. Ceremonial magic is there. It's also part of kind of witchcraft. And this one involves a very highly structured rituals. In this type of witchcraft, they do drawings. They do drawing on the traditions, mostly in the western part of the world. So the people that are involved in this kind of witchcraft, they use symbols, they use invocation, they make invocations, they do rituals, they use a lot of ceremonial tools to align with higher spiritual entities. I don't know if you've heard about Illuminati. Illuminati cannot operate so well if there is no witchcraft involved. You can't mark what I'm telling you. Illuminati is the most dangerous occultic institution in the world. But without witches and wizards there, they have a lot of things to buy from the marine. So witches are there to do a lot of. You see, they will draw a line like star, what they call pentagram. The Wiccans also use it. If they want to do enchantment, they draw this pentagram line. They will enter the line. That line they are entering is what will connect them to the spirits or to the demons they want to invoke. Because that line is a satanic symbol. Whenever that line is drawn and they enter inside the line, they begin to do enchantment. They begin to do incantation. They will recite some incantations. So the moment they begin to recite, demons, whatever demons they want to invoke, they invoke it. And they can invoke a demon to go and attack a person. They can invoke a spirit to go and attack a person. That's why a snake could enter inside your house or can enter inside your house and kill you and disappear. You see, a cobra will enter inside the house and somebody is sleeping. The cobra will just kill the person and disappear. You will not see the snake. Or they will just allow you to see the snake. The snake will kill the person and disappear. Yes, it's because they invoke such a snake inside that triangle, inside that pentagram. They will mention the person's name. And if you are the type that you are living in sin and you are not spiritual, of course, that sin in your life is a contact point that they will use to break that person. It's like, we woke up in the morning, we saw a snake bite, so we didn't see the snake. It's a spiritual snake. Not all snakes that bite people and live is ordinary. Some snake that keep people in the dead of the night or during the day is a spiritual snake that they have conjured spiritually with spiritual power. And that's why you cannot resist or fight them if you are not spiritually strong. You will not be able to say, in the name of Jesus, I bind you. Any snake that appears or scorpions or whatever, it may be lizard, you are spiritual, you'll be able to detect and use prayer against them. It's only prayer that can fight and overcome them. Ceremonial magic. These people are selfish kind of witches and wizards. They will do anything to get what they want. They might combine different elements from Wicca. Now I told you about Wiccan. Wiccan witches, their own is seasonal.
That a lot of people out there probably aren't familiar with. So this is kind of our educational episode for the public. What do Wiccans do? We do a lot of different things, that are different from other people. It was really interesting the other night. I was speaking with my cousin's wife, and she, we hadn't really spoken before. We had connected on Facebook, and we were just talking. And I realized how different we really were because she had absolutely no concept for what it was that we were talking about. So, Kristen, this is for you. When we talk about like what Wiccans do, we talk about things that we celebrate too, holidays, and people don't realize that there's this whole kind of veneer of things that we celebrate in American culture. Sometimes they're religious, sometimes they're kind of secular. Just even starting right off with something like Halloween.
Yes.
I think when people talk about Samhain and they look at you and they're like, well, what's Samhain? It's like, well, that's Halloween. People don't think about All Hallows Eve, but what are you doing? You're celebrating an old Celtic holiday, a fire festival. It's always celebrated on the eve because everything began in darkness. So it's just, it's equivalent, to, let's say in Judaism, that is when their day started. And for the Celts, that, twilight really marked the difference between the days. So it's very different from our modern day where we tend to think of either midnight as starting a day, which is to me a little bit strange. Or when the sun comes up, that somehow marks the day. So, the Celts have a different idea of things. Realizing that we've got the Sabbats, and then the next Sabbath would be.
You're questioning me?
Yeah, you. You know all this stuff.
Yes, they do, but not on TV.
Yes, I know that too. We have rule.
Yes.
And people know that as
Christmas.
Wiccan witches, they are also powerful. That's why they are number one. Shamanism it refers to people that they can stand like this and transact in the realm of the spirit to see visions for people, to tell you what's going on, to tell you the future, to give you herbs by revelation. This is also kind of witchcraft. So the people that practice shamanism, they call them shamanists. So this is another kind of witchcraft.